Howdy, howdy, cats and jammers. It's Jen and Dan, and we got a Ask Jen and Dan via PM through Facebook, and this one actually kind of hits home for us, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, and what it is how do you breach the subject with your spouse after marriage when they gain weight? And we're not talking about 10 to 15 pounds. We're talking 50, 60, 80, 100 pounds. Because both of us know it can be touchy. From my experience, Jen has I've gained quite a bit of weight. When I was first married Jen, I weighed 185. Last summer, I ballooned all the way up to 262. And what had happened is medications. Doctor put me on some medications after my heart attack, some steroids, and some other medications that caused me to gain weight and caused me to gain water weight. And I think one of the videos in the past, I showed like what my feet and ankles look like, and my stomach, and just need to be done. So right now I went from 262. Right now I'm 230, and I'm on my way back down. So what we want to cover is this. We're going to, from my perspective as a husband, how I would breach the subject with my wife, and then how I would want the subject breached to me. And then Jen's going to do the same thing. So do you want to go ahead and start?
Sure. So if I'm trying to get the point across to my husband, usually men are direct type of creatures.
Mm-hmm.
However, it may not work to be, well, as a girl, you're trying always to be nice and gentle to your spouse, trying to be nice and come across, very gentle. So the best advice that I would give is say, hey, if you want to try to do a gentle approach first and see if that sinks in. And I would just be something along the lines where I'd say, hey, babe, I've noticed that these days you're looking a little swollen. You're looking a little puffy. I'm just concerned that it might be hazardous to your health if you continue to go this route. I don't know if it's the medications or what you're eating, but it does concern me that it looks like you're not feeling the greatest or top notch. So it took me forever to find you. I don't want to lose you down the line to some unforeseen medical issue. Don't want to be widowed too young.
I've already had a heart attack once.
Right. So I try to go about that maybe one or two times to see if that hits a chord. If he kind of gets the hint that maybe it's time to lose the weight, reconsider what it is that he's eating. Mm-hmm. But if it's not working, if it looks like he's just continuing on to have those, in the middle of the night, ice cream binges. What?
I haven't done that in a long time.
I wasn't. It's not. Anyway, not to take it out of context, I'm just giving examples.
Right. No, I got you.
So if it's not working, then I would definitely suggest the direct route. But I would be more direct along the point of saying, look, it's starting to become an issue. Not to be mean, but it's starting to become an issue. I noticed that I'm having a hard time wrapping my arms around you, getting to my quote-unquote spot, like hugging you, because there's a little, area on his shoulder that I like to cuddle up on. And if I'm having a harder time getting to that spot, I'll just basically say, hey, I'm just having a harder time cuddling with you, because men are very physical creatures. So if you approach it to where, hey, it's starting to kind of interfere with our physical aspect of our marriage or relationship, it kind of takes the pressure off of, oh, you got yourself fat. It's more like, hey, this is creating an issue for this, instead of, and take the word you out of it if possible. Don't say, oh, you binge eat and you drink too much or whatever is causing that extra weight. Try to not use the word you. Just say, this is what's going on and this is causing this to happen. Just try to keep the word you out of it. So that's the second way I'd go about, try to do it between the eyes, but try to be diplomatic and try not to be harsh about it.
So how would you want me to approach you if you had gained a bunch of weight?
If I had gained a bunch of weight and lost too much weight, is also could be an issue for a spouse too, by the way, because for some reason I looked back one day and realized I dropped a bunch of weight, not meaning to, and that's not what I weighed when we met. So, I mean, if I want to be approached about that, I would, of course, now, because we're girls, I'd want it to be kind of like a gentle approach as well. Like, hey, babe, like, I noticed that you lost a lot of weight. I'm concerned about your health. Is there any way that we can maybe get you back on track to being, maybe more healthier weight, whether it's, losing some or gaining some? Mm-hmm. And it's important to remember that, you tell her, hey, or you tell me, hey, you're beautiful at any weight. You still dazzle me even to
Float
this
my
day.
boat.
You still float my boat.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how I would want to be approached, just really gentle. Unfortunately, sometimes we don't understand, and sometimes you might have to take direct approach from a guy to a girl too. But again,
So,
you can tread lightly.
so taking the direct approach, definitely not come up and say, "Hey, chubby," or something like that, or "Hey, fatso," or just be more direct. Like, "Hey, listen, you know what? You've gained weight, and I know you're aware of it because everybody that gains weight is aware of it. We know, believe me, we know. I know because I've gained a bunch of weight." And say, listen, it's a concern for me. Your health is something that concerns me. Because with the higher amount of weight that you have, there's a chance of heart disease, diabetes, heart attack, stroke. There's so many factors there that can play in. So even being direct, I don't have to be mean about it. But the one thing I would say is in this is if you are direct and it does start a fight, back off the fight. Don't engage. Look, I'm sorry, I love you. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I think you're absolutely gorgeous. So, is there anything else that you wanted to add to that?
About how I want to be approached?
Yeah.
Not really.
Okay.
No, not. I mean, there's no easy way to go about it because it's an uncomfortable situation.
Yep.
Regardless, even if you're best friends like we are, it's still
Yeah.
like and I think it makes it a little worse too if you're best friends because if you're really close, then you really don't want to hurt them.
Sure.
But. Yeah.
But so, from my perspective as a man, when Jen has approached me about losing weight, she has told me, I can't get into my spot because what she used to do is she'd walk up to me, hug me, and then lay her head right here. But now she's having to like bend in because my belly's in the way. I don't want to get too personal, but for myself, I'm worried about when we're being intimate. If I'm crushing her, and I don't like the way I look on top of it, and use the word on top. I don't want to go there, but. So those are the concerns that I have, and then my weight. I had a heart attack in 2017. I almost died. I had an out of body experience, and I had a choice whether or not I was going to stay or go. I looked at Jennifer and I chose to stay. And when I did that, when I opened my eyes back up, I was right back where I was. Doctor looked at me and said, "Hey, did you go somewhere?" I was like, "Yep." He's like, "We better get him to surgery. We're going to lose him." So, but that's a whole different story for another time. So my health is definitely something to be considered, and as a man, I want somebody to be direct. I don't want to have to pick out the riddles of a woman in situations like this. I'm sorry, gals, you communicate differently than guys do. Guys, for example, if this was a guy and Jen had really bad BO and this was John instead of Jen, I'd be like, dude, you stink. Put some deodorant on. I wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, it'd be really nice to have some potpourri in here and that maybe smell like Old Spice or Speed Stick. You just don't, I don't care. Tell me you stink. And so for her to come up to me and be direct, it might make me angry. Like, shut up. Who do you think you are? You lost 35 pounds. Listen here, stick girl.
Stick girl?
Yeah, I could use you.
Stick girl.
Stick girl.
Stick.
So I could turn around and use you as dental floss. But, I don't want to be insulting. But it will probably, it has made me mad in the past. And from my point of view, I as a man, if a gal's telling me this, I have to try to understand where she's coming from. Because if we delivered in marriage what we promised in courtship, there'd never be any fighting or divorce. So I met Jen at 185 pounds. I shaved every day. And she doesn't like facial hair because it makes her break out when I kiss her if I have any type of facial hair. So, I shaved every day. I always wore suits and ties and, I was always dressing really, really nice. And now with my weight, I don't have that wardrobe anymore because I can't fit into it. And that's not fair to her. She had this package that she married and then turned around and I turned into, an Oompa Loompa, a plump, something that I could get naked on the bed. I'm afraid she's going to take me to the beach and push me back in the water. So as far as that's concerned, I want her to be direct as a man. Be as direct as you can. I don't want to figure out your riddles. Because with riddles, what's going to happen is I'm going to get angry. Say what you need to say and say it directly, but be nice about it. And if it starts to fight, ladies, back off. And men, if you are being approached about your weight, try to have an open mind. Really try to have an open mind about it.
Because there's a real good reason why she's coming to you. And
Right.
you be on your knees in prayer and thanks that she came to you.
Right.
Because
Absolutely.
she could have just kept her mouth shut and started, eyeballing other dudes.
And resenting you.
Mm-hmm.
So, as far as breaching it with women, that's a tough one because I can be direct, and I hurt Jennifer's feelings when I'm direct. And I hurt her to the point that, but I hurt you to where you start crying, and then I feel like a big jerk. And then it pisses me off that she's crying because I was just trying to tell her something. But look, I can be a bull in a china cabinet sometimes. And I'm learning. The reason why it's the Knucklehead's Guide to Marriage is because I'm the chief knucklehead that wrote most of the book. The rest of it was Jennifer's input as to how she responded to it, and then she came up with the questions at the end of every chapter. So I can be a real knucklehead about this. But when I'm going to approach a woman that needs to lose weight or gain weight, what I would personally do is get them on an emotional high, take them out to dinner, buy them roses, buy them chocolates. No, that's not going to help with weight, but buy them chocolates, whatever. Get them a mani-pedi, get her a massage, do something for your wife that's been, lacking, something that's going to make her really feel good. And in the middle of that, on the emotional high, say, hey, babe, you know what? There's some things I need to talk to you about that you may not like, but I've noticed you put on a few pounds, and you're beautiful to me, but I'm concerned about your health. And, I had a heart attack. I don't want you to have one. I don't want you to have a stroke or a heart attack. I don't want to be a widower. It took me years. It took me 37 years to find you. Now that I found you, I want to keep you. And yeah, I want to grow old with you and have wrinkly skin and no teeth and all that. I want to do that. But if you die because you're heavy, or if you get diabetes and you lose a foot or anything like that, it's good. It's going to be a challenge. And the other thing too with it is I know that I'm not very confident in my weight. And I don't, because of that, I back off and I shy off from my wife because I don't feel like I used to when I was 185 pounds. Now I was 262, now I'm 230, and I'm all the way back down. I'll get to 185 in the next couple of months. But anyway, so when I approach my wife, I'm going to be softly direct. And if it starts a fight, back off, gentlemen. Don't engage, because what'll happen, that creates resentment. Gives her an excuse to not lose weight because now you're just a big jerk. Listen, if you guys, I don't really have anything else to input here.
What I was going to add to it, like if you're approaching the girl, and because she's sensitive, you don't want to hurt her feelings, but it's a good moment, since you're having that discussion that now that you're hoping she would understand that, losing the weight might hopefully be a better thing to do for the sake of your marriage. Also open up the floor, like, I am making suggestions on what I'd hope to see, but I'm also going to give you a chance right now to ask you what your expectations are of me. So that's you open up the floor. Now you've basically put it to a situation where now she has a moment to comment on, check in as to whether or not the husband is doing a good job keeping his appearances up too. Because now he just put you on the same playing field by leveling that out. Because now he just opened the floor so that the wife could also make suggestions. And that's a good point, maybe don't ever wait that long for it to come to that, Maybe, again, premarital counseling. This isn't something we talk about in premarital counseling, I don't think all the time, but I would recommend this. Even if you're newlyweds in a new relationship.
Lay down the expectations.
Hey, like, let's say we're going to get together for the next 10 years. Hey, what can we live with, for each other? What are our expectations? Like, I know sometimes people can gain 5-10 pounds, but what are we willing to live with and what are we not willing to live with? 20 pounds fine, but sometimes if they're going way up the scale or way down the scale, what is it, the expectations? You might have a notion of what your husband wants you to look like, and you might actually ask him, what are your expectations of what you want me to look like? And you might be surprised what his answer is, because unfortunately people make assumptions on what they want.
Jen.
What? I know, I just realized what I said. I'm sorry. Oops. But yes, so even there's a part in the Bible that does discuss, the importance of trying to keep each other, keep yourself looking well and being groomed, because it's only fair. You're in it for the long haul. You want your spouse or significant other to be attracted to you. You don't want to let the door cracked open and for Satan to kick it open. That's what I'm saying. If a wife has the guts to go to her husband to tell him her concerns about the weight issue, it's because she's only desiring to want her husband more.
Right.
It's again, be grateful that she came to you instead of just holding it in and then starting to eyeball other guys.
Yeah. No,
so take it as a compliment that she trusted you enough for her to come and approach you with it, and vice versa.
Right.
And vice versa.
So I don't really have anything else to add to that. That's fantastic. Yeah. Thank you, Jen. So listen, guys, this is a touchy subject, guys and gals. So please comment below if you have any ideas on how you would handle this. It'd be great. I'd love to see a discussion on this. Also, go ahead and smash the like button, hit subscribe, and share this video. Share any of the videos that we have. We're going to start posting more content. We're getting better cameras. I'm learning more on how to edit videos and whatnot. So better content will be on the way. And we got a bunch of Ask Jen and Dan's all at once. So we're going to try to do at least one, at least every couple of days. Mm-hmm. Anyway, with that, I will say goodbye. I love her. See ya.